Welcome to the Astoria Film Festival virtual step and repeat interviews. Today we're speaking with Mishi Castroverde and Andrew Golledge, whose film Return, Resume, Retire, Repeat is in our 2020 festival.
If you can give us a little bit about your backgrounds and what brought this film about.
Mishi, I'll leave that to you to get the title right.
Okay, so I'll start. My name's Mishi Castroverde. I am a choreographer based in New York City, in Harlem. I have had my dance company, Mishi Dance, since graduating from undergrad back in 2010. My choreography kind of runs a spectrum from contemporary ballet, which is, my training, my background is in classical ballet, and some of it tends towards a little bit more modern or contemporary. So this film is on that more modern end of the spectrum. The film is called Return, Resume, Retire, Repeat. So it started out as a concert dance work that I choreographed in collaboration with my dancers. And I always thought that the theme of the piece, it would lend itself well to a film aspect. It's kind of based on this idea of commuting. So even though the original piece was very abstract, I thought the idea of commuting would make sense in, public transit setting, which is where I kind of brought Andrew into the process. Since I don't have any background in film, I had an inkling that it could work in a film setting, but I kind of reached out to him to see if he thought, he could lend his expertise to making that a reality.
So my name is Andrew Golledge, and I've been an independent filmmaker for around 10 years now. I received this wonderful email containing a pitch and a link to the original performance of the piece, or at least one of the original rehearsals for the piece. And I knew instantly that this was something that I wanted to do. And when we first met in person, that was that meeting at the end of the summer 2017, we found out very quickly that we were on the same page in terms of what was inspiring us. And just as sheer luck, we were drawing on one identical piece of inspiration, and that was the Commuter's Lament poem that's posted up in one of the connecting tunnels underground at Times Square.
For me, that idea was this idea that, when we're commuting, it's a simultaneously shared experience, yet also isolating at the same time. You don't talk to anybody, you kind of avoid eye contact, but from time to time, if, something weird or funny happens and you make eye contact with someone or you run into somebody, you actually have that moment of connection. And so the idea of the piece was, what if there were a world in which we could expand those moments of connection in space and time? So the original piece had those ideas. We explored those ideas through movement. It was on the more abstract side. And then Andrew came in and put a story to it and some characters, and kind of it turned into what it is now.
And Andrew, had you done a dance film prior to this?
No, I haven't, but I'd always fantasized about doing a martial arts film. And I found that the visual language for capturing dance is really not too dissimilar from the visual language necessary to capture a fight. It's about characters, and it's about making sure the editing respects the movement, so that no matter how fast you get with the pace, no matter how fast you get with the cutting, you are presenting it in such a way from a technical standpoint that preserves the integrity of the original piece. Which is why when I was working on this with Mishi, more so than on any other film I've ever worked on, I was very keen to hear her thoughts on basically every step of the way. Not because I didn't necessarily trust my own instincts for this, but I just knew that she had an ear and an eye that I did not possess, and that she would be able to potentially see and hear things that I could not.
One of the things that Andrew kind of injected into the piece that wasn't necessarily there before, this idea, but I think it's kind of embedded in the title that, there's commas and there's no period, and you just repeat this, you go to work, you get there, you work, you come home, you start over, you do it again. So it's this idea of this is what we do every day, and every day is kind of the same. And, this idea of time and being amorphous, I think that's something that was definitely injected into the film with the story that Andrew put on it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true because just from a film culture point of view, my background is a lot in science fiction and really far out there speculative fiction. Philip K. Dick is one of my favorite authors, and that's sort of been a guidepost for me in terms of what are the themes that I personally like to explore. So again, even though my background hasn't been so much in dance in any professional or personal capacity, uh, when Mishi presented this concept that revolves so heavily around the notion of commuting, it was very easy for me to draw upon my own experience of commuting and from my personally speaking, my father's experience of commuting. He commuted from New Jersey to New York for almost 30 years, and I got to join him on a few of those commutes. And it does do something to your perception of time and space when you are entered into that routine that is so ceaseless, just going on again and again and again. So between the thematic resonance with the commuting and between my own personal interest in editing and filmmaking and style and stories that allow themselves to be messed with regards to perceptions of time and space, again, it was very easy to make this collaboration work and have it turn out as well as it did. These kinds of collaborations don't happen very often. So the fact that we were able to find each other, so to speak, and have the results of that collaboration turn out so well, I hope whoever watches this takes it upon themselves to seek out a similarly unlikely collaboration, because you might get something as good as this.
And what are you working on currently?
I think that Andrew and I kind of make our living in a similar way. We both tutor, so we can do that from our homes on Zoom, and feeling very grateful to do that. But in terms of choreography projects, we were supposed to have a 10th anniversary concert this September, which has been postponed to next September, hopefully. So just kind of trying to recover from the loss of being able to put that full evening of work together. Just kind of planning ahead and hoping that we can do it in 2021. Thinking of calling it a 10th plus 1 anniversary, I guess.
And as for anything that I might be doing now, nothing that's directly tied into COVID, and nothing that was halted too terribly by COVID. I work as the director of photography on a documentary that will hopefully be coming out soon about an election in District 11 of New York City, and that's in the post-production phase. So I do some light editing for that, and fortunately, that has not been impacted by COVID. So honestly, every day I start the day with a healthy dose of gratitude about the position personally I'm in.
Why don't you tell people how they can find your info, like websites or IG handles, stuff like that?
About my choreography and the company at mishidance.com, and Mishi Dance is our handle for Instagram and Facebook, so all of our happenings are on there.
If you want to find me, you'll just have to go to my website.
Thank you again.
Thanks again. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know why I wave on Zoom, but I do.
I like it. I like it. It works.
I was actually
look, I'm gonna do it too.
Friends the other day that we don't do that in regular meetings or interviews. When we leave, we don't wave. But
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.